Hey guys, what's up? I am Nikhil from dopemotions.com, and in this video we will create a glowing lines animation inside of After Effects with the help of Deep Glow. Now if you have never heard about Deep Glow, it gives you the best glow right out of the box even while working on a non-linear color space. It features intuitive compositions controls to assist in refining your glow results. Deep Glow is a GPU accelerated for speed and features handy downsampling and quality controls which can also leverage to achieve unique results. In short, Deep Glow offers a very realistic and non-color bending glows inside of After Effects. So it's a really cool plugin. I am really excited to show you guys the result that we can achieve with this. So without any further ado, let's jump into After Effects and get started. Alright guys, here we are in After Effects. Let's start on by creating a new composition. Call this main. 1920 by 1080, 30 fps and 5 seconds long. Hit OK. Now I can select the text tool and you can of course type in anything that you want to type it. So I'm going to type in the number just like we saw in the example, that is 5, and for the font I will be using the Nexa black. You are free to use any font, but make sure you use a very thick font because this effect looks very good with a nice thick font. So there we have our font, and now we need to actually animate the stroke of the font, and to do that we need to convert the font into a shape layer. So to do that, let's select it, right click, go into create shapes from text. Now we don't need this layer, I can delete that, and let's call this 5. So there we go, there we have it. We don't need any fill, so I can set this to none. We just need the stroke of around 1.5 pixel with a color of white. Now to hide the path and the control layers, you can hit Ctrl Shift H so we can easily and properly see the stroke. Now let's go ahead and animate the stroke. So I'll go into the properties, go into add and add a trim path. So now we can easily animate the stroke. So let's set the end property to 0, create a keyframe. I'll go around maybe 1 second and 15 frames, set this to 100. Create a keyframe on the start property, go to 3 seconds and set this to 100. So basically we have a very simple animation. Now to switch the animation side, I can just click on this icon. So we have the animation going from the right side to the left side in a clockwise position, and that is what I wanted. So I just switch it using this icon that we have, and I can also go into the stroke and set this to rounded cap instead of butt cap. We don't need the fill, so I can basically just delete that. And yeah, that is looking pretty good. Maybe I can also animate the offset of the trim path. So let's go at the very beginning and create a keyframe on the offset. Let's set the offset property to -150, and yeah, there we have the keyframe. Go at the very end and let's set this somewhere around like 50, +50, and let's see what our animation looks like. I think +50 is a bit too much. Let's go with maybe 35 or something like that. Let's see what we have. No, I don't want the position to be this, so maybe I'll just play around a bit with the position. Let's keep it somewhere around, let's keep it there. All right, so that is -338, and there we have the animation. I want my animation to end right over here. So let's see the animation. Yep, that is actually looking very good. It's a bit too fast, I think, to my liking. So what I can do is let's select all the keyframe, hold Alt and just drag this just like that. And now let's see the animation. Yep, this is looking much better. See, pretty nice. Let's select the keyframes, hit F9 to ease the keyframes. Okay, pretty nice. Now let's select this layer, hit Ctrl D to duplicate it. Let's go into the properties, contents, and let's go into the add and add an offset path. Now what I need to do is bring out the trim path and put this below the offset path to make it work according to the way we want. So now you can see the offset path is animating from a different side. So to fix this, we need to tweak the keyframes of the trim path. So I'll hit U so we can just see the keyframes. Let's go into the offset path and move the offset of the trim path right over here, and now you can basically change the position like that so it animates with this, just like so. And same goes right over here as well. I'll pull this right here and let's keep it somewhere around there. So it also ends with the stroke, and let's place them back to their positions. So now we have something like that. Looks pretty cool, right? And also yes, 10 looks good, so we don't need to tweak that. So there we go, there we have an offset path. I can also give it a different color so we know that it's an offset path, and this is our base. So let's actually rename this to base and let's call this offset underscore 01. All right, now let's select the offset one, hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, hit U 2 times to reveal all the properties. And I can play around with the offset. Let's actually go into contents, let's close that up. Okay, let's go into the offset and I can bring down the size to around, let's go with something like -10. So we have this really nice look. Again, I'm going to duplicate this one more time, hit Ctrl D, hit U again 2 times, and let's set this to -20. So we have this really cool animation, as you can see. Now one more thing that I can do with this offset is, let's make this actually red so we can know this is a different offset. Go into the stroke property and let's click on this plus icon to add some nice dashes, so you can get some really creative lines with this. So I can increase the dash, you know, something like that. So if I increase this, you can see we get a different look. And yeah, this gives a very nice, you know, variation to the complete animation. Let's preview the animation. Let's select the offset, different offset with the dashes, and maybe I'll increase this to 300. Now let's preview this. Yep, that looks much better. 300 looks much better than that. So we have 4 different offset animation. Now you can of course duplicate this again and create more and more copies, and that would definitely give it a very interesting look, to be honest. And you can again play around with this and, you know, get a really crazy look, but it looks super cool as well. Now let's move every layer 3 frames forward in time. So I'll hit page down 1 2 3 times, move this one, page down 3 times, move this one, and do that again to create a little bit of displacement, you know. So let's preview this. Now as you can see, now it looks really cool. So we are done with the animation. Now the fun part begins, is now we will start adding up some nice glow to this animation, and I will be using Deep Glow from Plugin Everything, which is an absolutely great plugin to create some amazing looking glows inside of After Effects. Now the default glow of After Effects is good as well, and you can use that if you don't have Deep Glow, but I would definitely recommend you guys to go ahead and check out the Deep Glow. It has some amazing features that will, you know, help us to create some more amazing and realistic looking glows. So let's go into Windows. I'll find the effects and presets and type in Deep Glow. Let's drag and drop in onto our base layer, and right off the bat you can see the glow of this is just so cool. You can also switch to 16 bits per channel by holding alt and clicking on this icon, so you don't get any kind of color bendings. So I'll just solo this up and let's focus on our base layer. So base layer, I want to keep this a red color. Now you can obviously play around with the radius, you can play around with the exposure, that is the brightness of the glow, but I'm going to leave it at default. You can also go into input and play around with the threshold if you want to, but let's set that to default. And you can go into the style. Now into the style, I like to keep the blending mode to add, and for the gamma correction, if you want to do that, but I don't think you will ever need to touch that. Now in the aspect ratio, there is a really cool thing that you can do, is you can just give a really nice angle to your glows. So this will help to create some very particular type of looking. You can, using this technique, you can create some particular glows. If you want any specific kind of glow, you can use that, you can create that using this aspect ratio. Then we have chromatic aberration. This is my favorite one, but let's take a look after we add a tint on that. So you can just give it a very nice color using the tint. So I'm going to give it a nice dark pink color, just like you saw in the example. And now if I turn on the chromatic aberration, we get a very nice and subtle chromatic aberrated look, as you can see. Just make the complete glow look more realistic. You can obviously switch between different greens and blues, and as you can see right over here, the chromatic aberration, and I'm going to keep that. I think that looks super cool. And as you can see, the glow is just so prominent, it looks very nice. So I can also increase the radius a bit, and maybe an exposure of 1.2. that is looking super cool. Now I can just copy this. First of all, I'll also add a nice stroke color to this. I don't want to keep it like a complete white color. I want a bit of a diffused white or a diffused pink kind of a thing. As you can see, that is looking much better. So let's copy this deep glow, hit Ctrl C and paste it onto this one. So hit Ctrl V to paste that up, and then I can give it a different color depending on the look I want to go with. So I can keep it something like that, and I can change the chromatic aberration to red and blue and play around with different settings to get the desired look. I'll set this to 1, and you can see this looks super cool. But for this one, I'm going to turn that off. We just want a very simple look. And also I can nice purplish color, maybe make it a bit more purple. Yep, that is looking much better. So now if I preview this, you can see we get some very nice looking glows and animation. Also there are a number of different settings. Let's go ahead and also add a nice background to this instead of keeping it a boring black color. So let's actually create a new solid, call this BG, keep it black, put this below, hit Ctrl Y to create a new solid, call this grid, and go into effects and preset, type in grid. Let's double click to apply that up. For the borders, I'll keep it 1 pixel, and for the size, I'll go with 1000 by 500. That is looking good. Let's put this below, and then I can add a 4 color gradient on this. Let's give it a nice red color to this, and actually let's give this one the red color as well. For this one, I'll go with a nice and purple for this one as well. Bring this a bit more closer, I think. Let's select the grid layer, hit Ctrl Shift C to pre-compose it. Move all attributes, call this grid. Hit OK, select the ellipse tool, and then I can just simply create a circle holding Ctrl and Shift at the same time. And let's feather this up. So hit F and feather that out. Really nice and subtle. Also for the background, I'll add a fill on this. Make it pure black. and now you can see we have a very nice background, and this looks super cool. Let's set this to 1000. You can also play around with the opacity if you want to just pull that down a bit. I want to keep it very subtle. Also, one more cool thing that I can do is, now let's create a new adjustment layer, call this noise, and let's add some noise on this, very minimal, like 2%, to give it a very nice look. Now we can simply just copy paste the glow from here. So let's copy this glow, hit Ctrl C. I'm gonna paste this on the third offset. Let's copy the red one, hit Ctrl C. Shift H. Actually, I'm gonna solo that out because I'm getting kind of confused between the layers. I should have probably renamed them in a different format, but yep, that works. That is looking nice. Let's make it a bit purplish. And there we go. So now if I preview the complete animation, you can see we get a very interesting look. And now it's your artwork. You can add some different things to really play around with this. For example, if I can just add a simple circle without a stroke with just a fill, something like that, and make it adjustment layer. Let's call this circle, and go into effects and preset, type in transform, and let's increase this a bit. Let's hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, and let's place one right over here. So just random stuff to give you guys an idea of what cool things you can do using this technique. Also, really quickly, I can also really punch up the colors a bit using the adjustment layer, call this CC. Go into effects and preset, type in curves, and just pull that down a bit. Just a touch. You don't actually need to even do that, but and if I just preview this, you can see the glows are looking just so amazing, and you can apply this glows on any kind of animation and it would make it look really cool. You can also combine them with different effects of After Effects and get some very amazing results. Now, one more cool thing that you can do is, if I just select the base layer, solo that up, and if I jump into the quality section, there are some settings like the downsample, steps multiplier, and auto iteration. Now with the help of this, we can achieve a really cool little effect onto our glowing line. So if I just uncheck the auto iteration, and let's increase the step multiplier to 1.6, and let's play around with the downscale, you can see we get a really nice lines that creates a really nice look. Now it's pretty subtle, but it looks super cool. If I just keep playing around with this, we get a really nice look. Again, I can also go into that aspect ratio and tweak this to make it a bit more prominent. You can see that looks super cool. So using this cool technique like downscale and stuff like that, you can achieve some very interesting results. So make sure you play around with these settings and have some fun with Deep Glow. So all in all, I think this is a very useful plugin for After Effects for creating some amazing glows, and I would definitely recommend you guys to go ahead and check it out. The link will be in the description below. And yeah, that is a wrap for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, make sure to subscribe, comment, like, and follow me on Instagram at dope.motions. I will see you guys in the next video. Till then, take care and always stay raw, stay creative. Peace out.